There's a common thinking that usually falls along the lines of this. Well, old Davy boy, unlike others, I can't just put losing weight or transformation as my first priority. Busy, 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 got a lot on my plate. I'm sorry, it just ain't going to happen. So, what am I going to do? There's at least a couple things going on here when someone is in that mode of thinking. One, they believe their life is busier than most others. Two, they have a belief that those who are fit put as their number one priority fitness most of the time. And three, when you couple one and two, belief that they're busier than most people and a belief that people who transform or become fit have maybe the luxury of putting that as number one most of the time, when you put all that together, you have someone who, again, they at some level often believe that they just don't have it as easy as others. And they might even be a little bit handicapped because fitness, transformation, fat loss just isn't going to be for them a most important, a priority number one. Just can't be. Busy, busy, busy. Got a lot to do. Unlike other people who have been successful in this and have maybe had the luxury or whatever it may be, something they're missing that they were able to put fitness in that number one spot. Well, I've got kind of, as usual, duality here. I've got some really bad news if this is a thinking you've clung to and used as an excuse. I got some bad news for you if you've used it as an excuse. But really good news is if it was just internalized at a level where you felt you were disadvantaged because of it. Okay, so there's kind of two different things there. If you've really clung to it as an excuse, you might hear some bad news. But if it's just been something where you maybe felt that you were a bit disadvantaged, then I've got some really good news for you here, okay? 99.9%. It's a lot. It's pretty high. More than half. 99.9% of people who are fit do not put fitness and fat loss as their highest priority. Yet hundreds of millions of people are fit and becoming fit, getting to a healthy weight just the same. 99.9% do not put fitness and fat loss at the top of their highest priority. They don't have it there. The highest fitness transformation gets to, for 99.9% of people, the highest it gets to is the number 3 position. That's because 99.9% of people overall have 2 other priorities above fitness transformation. 2 other priorities. So let's take a look. In the number 1 slot of life priorities is protect income at all costs. And in the number 2 slot is take care of others who most depend on us. For 99.9% of people who ever get fit, nutrition, exercise, and emotional fitness, major elements of transformation, right? Nutrition, exercise, and emotional fitness, the first 3 pillars of 6, those never rise higher than the number 3 slot. This is so true across the board, I've given it a slick acronym like my PWE squared. PWE squared, if you're not familiar, stands for pursue the worthy endeavor and persist without exception. And like that acronym, I've got win 3. What's your number 3? Virtually no one who has been successful has ever put their transformation in the number 1 or number 2 slot. The highest it ever gets for 99.9% is the number 3 slot. And unless you are truly set, retired, and maybe in chill out mode, everyone is busy. Many who are successful are as busy or busier than you. And 99.9% who are successful with their fitness endeavors don't put fitness transformation above the number 3 spot. The great news is, with a lot of everyday people evidence, the number 3 spot is high enough. If transformation is in the number 3 slot, you can achieve the transformation you desire. Another point I want to make is that it's an excuse, or at least an invalid statement, when someone says, well, I need to quit or take a break because I just can't make this my number one priority right now. Yeah, no one does. Literally no one. No one who has ever been successful before you ever had transformation as their number one life priority. The highest anyone who has ever been successful had it is in the number 3 slot. With that said, if your transformation isn't in the number 3 slot, the likelihood of success is extremely low. With so many competing obligations of life, if, after protect income at all costs and take care of others who most depend on us, if you don't have transformation solidly in the number 3 spot, it's beyond probably, it's almost got no chance of it working. Something I want to add about this idea of the number 1, number 2, and number 3 slots is the fact that the number 3 slot can be quite varied and nuanced. You may believe you've got your transformation in the number 3 slot, but maybe in the number 3 slot you've really got your exercise dialed in. And that's what you're thinking of when you say, I've got my transformation in the number 3 slot. But really what you mean is exercise. And you do the exercise no matter what. You do it with great why power, driving willpower, or maybe just passion for it. You do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. But your nutrition is number 4, 5, 6, or 26. Or maybe in the number 3 slot, you've got solid nutrition habits, but you don't exercise like you should. You don't exercise, you don't do the basics, you don't do the fundamentals. You're not putting in at least 150 minutes of purposeful, effortful exercise where maybe you're even breaking a little bit of a sweat and you're including, 2 days minimum of strength training. So nutrition's in the number 3 slot, but maybe exercise is number 4, 5, 6, or 26. Or maybe you're one who rotates into the number 3 slot, nutrition on Monday. Hey, nutrition got Monday. But it was TV watching on Tuesday, and it was exercise on Wednesday, but it didn't have nutrition there. It didn't have emotional fitness there. It just had the exercise. And Thursday was lollygagging, and Friday was socializing with friends on Friday, and so on. That was in the number 3 slot. In other words, what goes into your number 3 slot isn't solid or consistent. And some of that's just life. Maybe transformation isn't always going to be in that number 3 slot. That's normal. That's going to work. That's going to be fine. But it needs to be in there far more often for most people than it is to win this. So it's not enough to say my health or wellness or weight loss or my overall transformation is in my number 3 slot. If you're rocking this, then I'll say you've got at a minimum the 6 pillar fundamentals of transformation solidly in the number 3 spot. You will rarely have all 6 pillars totally dialed in. Almost no one does. There's only elements of each that you'll have dialed in at any given time. What people who are successful have enough of the elements of the 6 pillars dialed in at any given time to be successful. But you'll rarely have all 6 dialed in and sitting in at number 3 spot. What are the pillars again? Pillar 1, nutrition. Pillar 2, physical activity. Pillar 3, emotional fitness. Pillar 4, why power. Pillar 5, triggers management. And Pillar 6, engaging support. The good news is, no one who was ever successful before you had all 6 perfectly in place either. Nor did they have all 6 perfectly in place in the number 3 spot all the time. But they did have the elements of the pillars, whether they called them the pillars, whether they even knew what the pillars were. They had the elements of the pillars that they needed for them in place to win this, and more often in that number 3 spot. Okay? With that, I want to bring this word back. In case you haven't heard it, most of you have. Fundaceptional. It's a word I coined several years ago. It didn't exist until I coined it. I Googled it. No one had ever uttered the word. I like it. Fundaceptional, adjective. It is the exceptional execution of the fundamentals. Why the fundamentals? Because the beginner focuses on the fundamentals not to be confused. The expert focuses on the fundamentals because they know what works. The fundamentals of the 6 pillars will be enough. The fundamentals executed exceptionally, which is not mediocre, not status quo, not average, and not perfect. The fundamentals executed exceptionally are going to work. And they're relatively easy to understand. You know, if we were looking at Pillar 1 nutrition, a fundamental that you would want to execute exceptionally, to be fundaceptional, would be start the day with a plan. Then eat the plan. What plan? Start the day with a plan that is NFL 15 compliant. The NFL 15 compliant part keeps the fundamentals in there for quality. A little bit of volume control in there, but mostly it's a quality thing. Hit your calorie target, fundamental for fat loss or staying the same or gaining weight. Hit your calorie target, hit your protein target. Fundamentals of Pillar 1. Start the day with a plan, eat the plan. What plan? NFL 15 compliant, hit your calories, hit your protein. There's not a person listening to this, watching me right now, that doesn't understand what I just said. Who I think could honestly look at that and say, on its face, at the on paper level, that is not difficult. It's not hard to understand, and it fits quite well with the premise of the beginner focuses on the fundamentals because it helps them to not be confused. It's not confusing. NFL 15, start the day with a plan, eat the plan, calories, protein, got it. The expert focuses on the fundamentals because they know what works. So while the beginner will look at that and say, that's not that hard to understand on paper. I'm not talking about the execution of it, but it's not that hard to understand on paper. And the expert says, yeah, not only do I have it, it's second nature in the back of my mind, I got it, but I also know that it works. And so I'm going to do what works. And I'm going to do that, those elements, those fundamentals that work exceptionally, because I'm going to get the payoff for doing those things consistently. I'm going to get the greatest payoff for doing that. It's not enough to put the pillars of transformation in the number 3 slot once in a while. So for now, think about what's your number 3? What's your number 3? Are the fundamentals of the 6 pillars there? Fundaceptionally in the number 3 spot? If not, it's okay. There's room for growth. That's why you're here. Keep growing, keep learning, keep striving to improve. Keep refining and putting in the reps. Keep refining and putting in the reps. Don't just keep on keeping on. Keep growing, keep getting better. Keep refining and putting in the reps. Strive for improvement. Strive for progress. Avoid perfectionism. It's a trap. It's a lie. It's a myth. It's unattainable. It's a recipe for feeling like a failure. How could you not? If perfection is the only thing that is supposedly acceptable, because none of us is perfect. But we can achieve fundaceptional, the exceptional execution of the fundamentals. Remember, almost no one who has ever been successful in transformation had transformation in the number 1 or number 2 spot. Nope, that gets saved for protect income at all costs and take care of those who most rely on us. That is almost universal. Okay, very few exceptions. I'm okay with being wrong in the very few exceptions that may present with that. Okay.